Alright, what's going on guys? Afflicted Gamer here, back with another Division video, and we're going to talk about Deadeye. Now, it's one gear set that I've never been a huge fan of, but with the classified version, I thought I would give it a shot. And to be quite honest, it is a very powerful gear set, but I've set mine up differently than most. Now, for those of you that aren't 100% sure what Deadeye does, or you're unfamiliar, real quick, it is a marksman rifle build. The 2-set bonus gives you 40% initial bullet stability. The 3-set gives you an additional 20% marksman rifle critical hit damage. And then the 4th set, Deadeye, when zoomed, marksman rifle loses headshot bonus but gain 50% critical strike chance when out of cover and 100% critical strike chance when in cover. But with the classified version, we now have the 5 and 6 set bonuses. The 5 set bonus gives you an additional 40% initial bullet stability and an additional 20% marksman rifle critical hit damage. I think that that is fantastic. But now when it comes to the 6 piece, this is where I have a bit of an issue and why I don't think that the 6 piece is better than the 5 piece. And please remember, this is my opinion only, and I'm going to explain why right now. So, as it reads, when zoomed, getting a headshot kill with marksman rifles will increase critical hit damage by 20% every second to a maximum of 100%, and will increase stability by 100%, last for 10 seconds, or until no longer zoomed. Doesn't sound too bad at all, but actually in practice, it is not quite as easy as you think, or as useful. One, you may get a couple of good shots off, that's for sure, but what if you get attacked from the side? What if you get shot in the back? What if anything happens at all, which it will at some point? Something will happen that will have to make you move, which means that you will then be unzoomed, and then you will lose that bonus, and even when you just have to reload your weapon. Now, obviously you could stack your firearms up to 10k and try to pretty much one-shot everybody if you want, and then there are other players like myself that don't want to have no life in me at all, where that means that either I get one-shotted, or the other person gets one-shotted. There's always the middle ground where you have a little bit of toughness and you have a little bit of electronics to back up what you are doing. That's how I put my build together. So if that interests you, stick around for the video and drop a like on it if you see fit. Leave your thoughts and comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Division content. So what I did instead of the 6-piece was, again, personal preference, I put on Barrett's bulletproof vest. Why? Well, honestly, I've always thought that this was one of the best exotics in the game in terms of gear, now other than the Ninja Bike backpack, but the Ninja Bike backpack does not work with classified gear. Barrett's vest, on the other hand, does. So, when I have no skills on cooldown, my skill power is increased by 10%. That's great because I'm not too heavily spec'd into electronics. When I have one skill on cooldown, my damage is increased by 5%, and when I have both on cooldown, I've got extra armor by 10%, which is great because I think the health versus armor change they did, I would prefer armor actually over this whole thing with health. What I did was I rolled the chest piece for 9% skill haste, because obviously getting your signature ability back as fast as possible is crucial. I've got health on there, and ammo capacity in the minor, exactly how I want it. Now, I actually chose the Historian over the the SVD, which is always used with Deadeye from the most part of what I've seen. And I think that the SVD is fantastic. It's actually one of my favorite snipers in the game. However, the Historian, when I get a different one, I will actually switch it so I have Brutal, and then I won't need as much stamina. I'll go with Brutal Deadly. But for now, the one that I do have has Prepared, Destructive, and obviously History repeats on it. This is a weapon that you need to spec heavily into firearms in order to make any use out of it at all, because if you read the talent, each bullet embeds itself in the target and detonates 1 second later for 700% of your firearms total. So that's why I want to get different talents on my historian so that I can actually drop some of the stamina and add it into firearms. So we're actually going to call this version 1 of 7.1 Deadeye, Explosive Deadeye. I did keep an assault rifle as my backup just because in case I do get into any close quarter combat fights, anything that catches me off guard, I can pull out an assault rifle and quickly take them down. Choice of weapon, level OC, destructive, brutal, unforgiving. Now, in terms of the rest of the gear, what I did was this. The mask, firearms, crit chance, burn resist, because I find I get set on fire left, right, and center. Still. And then the knee pads, I went firearms with crit hit damage, burn resist. I've got increased kill XP and bleed resist. When I get a better pair, I will swap those out, but for now, they do me just fine. The holster, 1300 across the board with skill haste as a major attribute, not health this time because again, the cooldown. The gloves they're pretty much perfect. Big Scott, shout out to you for these. He dropped these for me. Marksman rifle damage, crit chance, crit damage. Couldn't ask for more in the gloves. Rolled to firearms. The backpack also I would like to change because every pack I got was spec'd into electronics. And I've got crit damage and again ammo capacity because if I'm running around solo, I do not want to run out of ammo sooner than later. So I like to have a lot of ammo capacity on me. In terms of the attachments, now the argument here with the historian is there's only 3. The DPS number will never be as high as something like the SVD. So Omega Rifle Suppressor, this is personal preference. I went with headshot damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage. However, if you cannot land your headshots, go with crit hit damage, crit hit chance, and then headshot damage. The extended mag is the one that's being sold this week in the Boo, 120% mag size, 4% critical hit damage, 5.6% rate of fire, and I went with AC 79 scope. You can go with a VX1 if you want to. I prefer this. 17% critical hit damage, 3% crit chance, and 6% headshot damage. Now, if you're curious, real quick, the Lavoisi is modded pretty much the same way. Headshot damage, crit chance, small grip, crit damage, optimal range, stability for the kick that the Lavoisi has. Same extended mag as the Historian and a mini rugged reflex sight for the top with crit chance, crit damage, headshot damage. Trying to stack all of that as best as possible. Sidearm is whatever. It's first wave X45. Nothing too special. So, that is the way that I've chosen to set this up. And like I said, the second that I get a different historian, I will probably throw out a version 2. But for now, honestly, this build has suited me just fine. In terms of my talents, I'll show you those as well. I still have on critical save and strike back. I always find them still to be useful. And I also have on precision, so whenever I headshot a hostile, I will pulse them for 10 seconds, giving me more chance to down them quickly, and steady hands. So whenever I enter into cover, the recoil is reduced by 25% for 10 seconds. For now, honestly, the skills, personal preference, I obviously am going to use some form of healing. So I've got overdose, and I put on smart cover with concealment. That way enemies can't see me. However, if you choose to run smart cover, you can always go with a different talent. You could use Trapper, you could use your Charger. It can differ depending on whether you're solo or in a team. Because I'm solo, I will go with concealment. And honestly, if you want to, I know a lot of people don't use it, but mobile cover, it works very, very well with this. And if you're in an engagement with elites or legendary mode missions, you know what, you could put this on top of that you could throw on your support station. Either way, you can mix and match up your talents and your skills however you want, but this is my setup. So now here we're with the open world bosses. I'm going to try to stay away from these guys as much as possible and take them out. You see right there, Steady Hands is already procced. And the other thing too is with the Historian, unlike the other weapons, and because I don't have the 6th talent on, I don't have to stay zoomed in to try to get that bonus. Because, for instance, I'll show you. If I had the 6th set bonus on, I just threw my smart cover all the way up there. GG. Doesn't matter. This is what would happen. And then there they are shooting at me. At some point, this grenade will get thrown at me here unless I down him quick enough. Being shot from the side. Or I may just have to reload because look it. You can see I'm getting hurt. There we go. I've already lost my set bonus from the 6 piece. So that's why I choose not to use it. And also, now I can just do this. If they rush at me, where is this guy over here? They did a nice, and honestly I find it much more useful and much more enjoyable to use also. And there we go. Now I realize these are just red NPCs, but I just wanted to show you guys in practice exactly what I meant, and you know, seeing is believing. Get a better explanation of everything. That's why I don't particularly think that the 6 piece is necessary or even all that helpful. Now maybe if you're running in a group, you know what, it might be a little bit different because then you can have people throwing heals at you, they can call out some shots, they can cover your back. The 6 piece can be used very well then. But if you're running around solo, and honestly for the majority of the part, one way or another, you will get shot, you will get knocked out of cover, and most definitely you will have to reload your weapon. So that's why I chose to go this route. Anyways guys, that is the build. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of it down in the thoughts and comments below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. It's very much appreciated. We're now on the road to 6K. Thank you guys. You're absolutely amazing. If you're new to the channel, consider sticking around with it by subscribing for more Division content. And I will see you guys very soon in the next video. And when I do get another Historian, you will see version 2 of Explosive Deadeye. Alright, so you guys are still here. We're going to go in for a bonus clip with the second boss around the corner, because as we all know, they have a 3% chance of a drop rate to get a piece of classified gear, which, to be quite honest, the better pieces have dropped from me doing this than when the actual global events were happening. So what we're going to do here is scooch up a little bit because I don't really see anybody. There they are. Smart cover is up. Situations like this where you don't have a whole lot of NPCs to shoot at, well then the 6 piece will be quite helpful. On top of that, like I said, with Brutal, the firearms damage would be a lot higher. And I wouldn't have had to unzoom whatsoever. There you have it. Thanks for sticking around. If you did stay this long, #Explosive Deadeye.